You've worked the same job for 22 years, same badge, same parking spot, same 7:45 alarm. Nobody there has any idea what your accounts actually look like. You're a facilities maintenance supervisor for a mid-size hospital network. $71,000 a year. Not a bad salary. Not one anyone would call impressive at a reunion. You've never asked for a raise beyond the standard annual adjustment. You've never once considered leaving for a better title somewhere else. Your coworkers assume you're getting by like everyone else. Paycheck to paycheck, same as the rest of the department, same as most people they know. You drive a 9-year-old sedan. Nothing wrong with it. You've never once cross-shopped anything newer. You live in a 2-bedroom condo you bought 18 years ago. The mortgage has been paid off for 6 of them. At your daughter's college orientation, another parent mentions his consulting salary like it's a normal thing to bring up. You just nod and ask about the dining hall food. Nobody in that auditorium would guess you could write a check for 4 years of tuition without blinking. Here's what a $71,000 salary and a paid-off condo don't show you. You started contributing to your 401k the first month you were eligible 22 years ago at 6%. Every raise you've gotten since then, you increased that contribution by 1 percentage point. It's sitting at 17% of your salary now. You've never once decreased it. Your 401k balance today, $1.1 million. Not from picking stocks, from an S&P 500 index option inside the plan that you've never once changed. You maxed your Roth IRA every single year it was available to you, even the years it meant skipping vacations other people took without a second thought. That account alone sits at $612,000 today, money that will never be taxed again when you eventually touch it. Outside of retirement accounts, you hold $340,000 in a plain taxable brokerage account. Same index fund, same discipline, nothing exotic. Your condo paid off is worth roughly $290,000 today based on the last comparable sale in your building. Add it up and you're sitting at just over $2.3 million. You've calculated the exact number exactly once for your will. Your sister, who makes almost double your salary in sales, has less than 1/10 of what you have saved. She spends what she earns. You never learned how. At work, a younger employee assumes you must be struggling to save for retirement on a maintenance salary. He mentions it gently, like he's worried about you. You tell him you're doing fine. You don't correct the assumption further than that. There's no version of the real number that fits naturally into that conversation. A new hire in HR runs a routine retirement readiness seminar for the department. The slide about catching up in your 50s is aimed at people like you. You sit through it anyway. At the bank opening a CD for an emergency fund top-off, a teller explains compound interest slowly, the way you'd explain it to someone just starting out. Your brother-in-law at a holiday dinner mentions he could get you a warehouse job with better overtime if things ever get tight for you. You thank him and mean it. A mortgage broker cold calls about refinancing debt you don't have. You let her finish the pitch. Some habits of politeness outlast their usefulness. None of these people are wrong to assume what they assume. A hospital maintenance badge has never once implied a 7-figure net worth to anyone. The gap isn't between who you pretend to be and who you are. It's between what a job title is supposed to predict and what 22 years of quiet contribution actually built underneath it. You watched a coworker get a modest promotion 15 years ago and immediately finance a boat. He's still working the same job today, still making boat payments. You didn't judge him for it. You just noticed that every raise he got afterward seemed to disappear into something before it ever reached an account. The contribution percentage increasing with every raise wasn't a dramatic decision. It was one checkbox, adjusted every year, that you simply never unchecked. Nobody throws a party for a checkbox. That's exactly why almost nobody does it consistently for 22 years. Your ex-wife knew the real number. It was never a secret between the two of you, even after the divorce. She's the only person outside your accountant who's seen it. Your daughter, now in college, has no real sense of the number either. She knows you're careful with money. That's the entire extent of what she's ever needed to know. You'll tell her eventually the way you were never told by anyone. Not as an inheritance announcement, as an explanation of what a checkbox held for 2 decades can actually become. Here's the actual pattern worth noticing, whether your salary is $71,000 or $171,000. Net worth and income are almost never correlated the way people assume. A high income with a rising contribution rate that never gets undone will outperform a much higher income that gets fully absorbed by lifestyle almost every single time over a long enough timeline. The specific mechanism that did the actual work here was boring on purpose. Automatic contribution. 1 percentage point added with each raise. An index fund nobody had to manage. This isn't a story about being underpaid and secretly rich despite it. It's a story about what an ordinary paycheck can become when nothing ever gets in its way for 22 years. Tomorrow you'll badge in at 7:45, same as always. Nobody will know the number. That was never really the point of building it. Monday, your paycheck deposits. 17% leaves for retirement before you ever see it land. Wednesday, a coworker orders food delivery for the third time that week and jokes about being broke until payday. You brought lunch from home like you have for 2 decades. Friday, the market had a rough week. Your balance dropped on paper by an amount larger than most people's entire savings. You don't check it until Sunday. Sunday, you check the account once the way you do every week. It's still there. It's always still there. That's the entire strategy, repeated for 1,144 weeks in a row.